right, let's get to it. Franklin Kweku Peters is the CEO of Inkit. Richard Osei Inim is the managing partner of Coral Reef Innovation Hub. And they are two of 13 Ghanaians who took a trip, an expedition, to drive all the way from Accra to London through how many countries?
We actually less the number of countries. So what?
Probably
Ivory Coast, Mali, Senegal, Mauritania, Western Sahara, Morocco. That's if you're counting Western Sahara as a country on its own. Spain, Switzerland, France, Italy. You went through Italy and then Monaco, yes, and then France.
I've already lost count.
Yes, you lost count.
I've already lost count.
So
basically, you traversed two continents. Ended
yes.
up in London. To great fanfare, by the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was so exciting to see you guys finally arrive at the end of your journey.
Absolutely.
But some of us followed all the way through.
Yeah.
We watched every single interview on BBC and all the other international networks that spoke to you. And we were just so excited to see how beautifully you were putting Ghana on the map.
Right.
But for me, all the way through this, I was sitting here waiting for you to come and meet me so I can ask you one question.
Yes.
What were you drinking when you made the decision?
Is this a family show? Whiskey, good old whiskey.
Oh my word!
Good old whiskey.
Tell me about that moment.
Okay, so Kwabena Pipra and I, and incidentally, there's a backstory to how Kwabena and I met.
Right.
When Dubai, I mean, Ibis or Ibis, and he's in
Right.
Novotel. They're pretty much same company, whatever. And he posted a picture of beer.
Right.
On his, we're doing a group called Let's Eat. So he posts a picture and like, Kwabena, Novotel. I'm like, what the heck? I'm next door. That's how we first met about maybe 5-6 years ago. So we met over beer. And one of the things we do anytime we're traveling through that space, we go to that same pub that we met and we share a beer.
Wonderful.
But one night we're just, boys having a chat and drink and whatever. And like, I'm like, dude, you know we could drive to London. And in his drunken stupor, he was like, yeah, why not? And in every team, I'm sure you probably know Bruce Tucker's forming teams, Norman Storman, performing, adjourn in the morning, and bringing people together as a team to a high performing team to achieve something. And he's the guy with the OCD in our team.
Oh.
So when we get an idea,
note-taker,
he's the one who's going to take an Excel spreadsheet and start. So okay, from Accra to London, how many kilometers? That's 10K.
Right.
What sort of cars would we use? What is the route that we'll use? What's the investment? Hotels, food, extra gallons, even to a T, the kind of jacks that we will use, plugs, oil filters, brake parts, to a T. So there's a whole Excel spreadsheet. In fact, I'm organizing master classes to actually show people how we did it. But it wasn't something that we did out of yes, I mean we I'm sure we'll come to the courses that we're supporting. But it was good old whiskey that inspired us to go on this journey, and it's not something that we just got off and started doing. We've been traveling around the country for about we've probably gone around the country about 10 times.
Wow.
All the way to Paga, Navrongo, Wa. We've done that Tumu stretch. We've gone Afram Plains. We've done the Volta region. I mean, COVID, shut down, nowhere to go. So we use that and also the kind of work I am in, working with the rural schools. So it's always, I'm always on the move. So we've used that to explore the country. This is just an extension of our road trips.
Yeah. I mean, this is not the kind of idea that would even occur to someone who doesn't love to travel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tell me about that, Franklin. What is it about this? I mean, when somebody said, we're going to drive 10,000 kilometers, what exactly is it about you that made you say, yeah, I'm in?
It was very, very, very exciting when I first heard about it. I love to drive. I love cars. I can drive 10 hours, 12 hours straight. you know, I like to feel the steering in my hands. I don't like people driving me. I always drive myself. So when I heard about it, I said, I'm definitely going. And people think that, oh, I'll chicken out in the end. Plenty of people chicken out anyway. We started with like,
About 33
yeah,
people.
cars. Yeah. And in the end, only 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was so determined that if nobody else will go, I will go.
Yeah, and boy, did you go!
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
yeah.
It
You
was-
guys you traversed some serious terrain.
Absolutely.
You went through some countries where there was real danger. Am I right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the good thing about what we did was that lots of research. We spoke to lots of people that had done the trip. When you think about this, it's always from Europe down south.
That's the ones we hear about.
That's
right?
what you
Yeah,
hear about.
yeah.
It's rare for Africans to go, and we've heard all the commentary. And we were not out to set any record. We were just doing our thing. I mean, there are some guys who had done it. One Adamu and another fellow who had done it to Sweden,
Right.
And then Adamu did, I think, in the 90s to London. So in fact, we spoke to them as part of our planning. YouTube videos and so on. If we hear of anybody coming to town from Europe who's driven going down south and we have lunch and explore with them. So we did a lot of work in it. But the intel we had was that there were specific areas, hotspots. Funny enough, it was from Bamako to Keys. Keys is a border town close to Senegal. So for security, we don't leave our hotels before 6, and we try and get to our next destination before 6 p.m. So from dawn to dusk, we make sure that if it's 1,000 Ks we've got to do, we do it. If we're not, in some cases, we couldn't hit our destination, so we find a town, whatever, and then guys get tired. I mean, we're swapping the driving and so on. So security from Mali to Senegal, in between there were stories of jihadists, there were stories of Fulani herdsmen. And the interesting thing we got told was that these guys can talk to their cattle to sit in the middle of the road and block access and then emerge from whatever. So at the back of my mind, these guys were like, they were fearless, but me at the back of my mind, I was like, Jack,
You're just waiting to see a cow. Right?
You know, I was like, but on the route, you see guys on motorbikes with guns, and we're told they were traditional hunters.
Right.
So that settled us a bit. So we got an escort from Bamako all the way to Keys. That was one of the consul at Honorary Consul George at Mali. Supported
Ghanaian
us,
consul in Mali.
Ghanaian,
Yeah.
yes. No, Hato is Mauritania.
Okay.
So he took us all the way to the border town, slept, and then headed back. So, but these embassies have intel all the time, whether it's red, gold, green. Have you heard the joke about the Ghana flag being different shades of pepper and the black star being shito?
Yeah.
You know, so we got green when we were leaving Bamako. But just when we left Dakar, that's when the Niger crisis hit.
Oh, wow.
So we just missed that by a whisker. So that stretch, Bamako to the Senegal border, we had concerns, but we went through.
And you know, you and your friends, you've traveled across Ghana. You understand the Ghanaian culture quite well.
Yeah.
How did it compare to the cultures of the countries you traveled through? And when I ask this question, I'm thinking of Mauritania.
Okay.
Because we heard a lot about your ordeal in Mauritania, where systems just didn't seem to work.
Yeah.
How does that compare to Ghana, where we are always complaining? You know, that things are. Don't
I
get
think
done
for us, yes, we're Ghanaian, but we're also cosmopolitan. We've traveled and lived in different countries, so our mindset and exposure is kind of different, and we're able to view things. We will eat anything. We will eat the couscous. We will eat anywhere we go. We can adjust. So from a cultural perspective, the Mauritania also. So we leave Senegal, get to the first border, that we thought we could cross. That was a place called Diani. Did all the processing on the Senegal side, crossed over to the Mauritanian side. The guys were like, no. I mean, there was a letter from the Mauritanian Interior Ministry that was allowing us passage. The guys looked at it and said, no, they don't have the system to process it over there. So we should go back to Senegal, 100 kilometers away, to another border, which is the Rosso border. And we had heard all sorts of things about the Rosso border. But whatever we had heard, nothing prepared us for the ordeal that we went through. Why? Because 2 of our cars had tinted windows. The driver and the passengers, it had tinted windows. And it's a traffic offense. So as soon as we exited immigration, I don't know if somebody told the guys that these guys are coming. As soon as we left, the traffic police were waiting for us.
Amazing.
And there are 3 things. Okay, it's an offense. You're going to take the tints off. We're going to fine you. And we're going to detain the car for 48 hours.
Hey.
Police near Wacho Friday afternoon.
Oh my goodness.
So apart from all the shenanigans that went on at immigration, customs and whatever, if it's $60, budget 180 because it's a fleecing. I mean, they are just ripping you apart.
Extortion.
Okay, extortion. I mean, there's extortion mu Mbappe. You know, it's
goodness.
at the highest level. Yeah. So, and Guru Boys, I'm pleased to announce, are alive and doing well everywhere. Okay, everywhere. This random guy who are just fooling us about when we're just about to decide we owe him 250 euros. So we owe you what? Just
for the pleasure of his company.
Yeah, 250. No, I think the amount they extorted from us, we don't like discussing the figures, but it's ridiculous. The criminal aspect of it is that they didn't put us in a system. So when our consul in Nouakchott was looking for us, he actually went to the equivalent of the IGP and to complain because we had a letter from their Ministry of Interior. We were not in the system.
No.
We were not in the system. The guys Friday, whatever, had no processors. They were extorting, whatever. In that heat.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, in that heat. And a lot of us are nursing, we're growing old. Nursing all sorts of long-term conditions, you know. No water, food for 7 to 8 hours. So eventually, the pressure came from the capital and they let us go. We ended up in Nouakchott at the Honorable Consul Felix Hatto's residence. And I've never enjoyed a piece of fufu, a bowl of fufu like that in my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, usually we sneer at fufu that's been pounded at say a few hours. No. Even though it was sorted out at 1 p.m. and we're eating at midnight, we just kept quiet and then consumed it and went to bed.
The first good dish.
Yeah, after
days.
Because a lot of the distance we on plantain chips and crackers and nuts and so on. This is where the women will say, if you are taking us along, but I'm sure you had cake, you sure you had fish and shito and so on. But yeah, it's all good. Mauritania reminds me of, I was telling you earlier, a scene out of a Clint Eastwood movie in the Wild Wild West. The heat, the dust, you know,
the lawlessness.
I'm sure Mauritanians are very lovely people, but based on our experience, you know, when you enter a country, your first engagement is at the port. That is, you form all your impressions at the port. And for me, I'm not going through Mauritania anytime soon. You know, I'm not going there. But I understand the consul took it up, protested with the government, and they claim there's some investigation going on, so we'll see.
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, since you talked about maybe the ladies would have said, why didn't you take them along? Why were they interested and you didn't take them?
No. We've always maintained boys gig, and this is where they will be throwing stones at me for being what do you call it? What's the word they used to describe as a chauvinist and what's the word they've also got the patriarchy and so on. Yeah, sorry, they are now going to look for your wig and your lipstick and your whatever. No. But there's a lady with us.
Yes, you had a lady on it.
Shikanik was with us, and Shikanik is a fantastic young lady trying to build a business around training female mechanics to support female drivers. I mean, in several jurisdictions, women are considered better drivers. Their cars tend to enjoy premium pricing when they are reselling and so on. They sort of demand or require certain specific engagement in that space. So it's shout out to Shikanik and what she's trying to do in that space. Technical vocational spaces as well. Yeah.
Wow. What currency were you guys using on the trip? Like, what were you
Most of
paying?
the
Cash, card?
Well, we use our visas, and most of the ECOWAS countries used SAFA.
Right.
Mali, Abidjan, and Senegal,
Senegal,
right?
yeah, SAFA.
Yeah, so we had SAFAs. And usually it's card because we didn't want to carry a
Cash.
lot of money.
Yeah,
on
not
us.
very
Yeah.
safe. Yeah. If you just joined us, we're talking to Franklin Peters and Richard Enim. They are two of the 13 Ghanaians who made that road trip from Accra to the United Kingdom, to London. And we're learning all about this this amazing adventure. And we're about to talk about why, okay, and the purpose that you put this ordeal to. You used it to raise money.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so my line of work is in education. I'm a teacher. Anytime I say I'm a teacher, I get immigration. I say I'm a teacher. The guy says, "I was a teacher." But yes, I mean I'm a teacher, and we've been over the last 5-6 years thinking and exploring and working around bridging what we call the digital poverty divide. If you really think about it, I mean, ChatGPT, if you must be hiding under a rock if you haven't come across ChatGPT and AI and so on. So there's on the automation side, it's driving change, replacing jobs, disrupting industries at a much faster pace than we ever imagined. However, innovation is replacing jobs, but different types of jobs which require different types of skills. Now, picture here in Accra, top schools, GIS, Roman Ridge. Think about them. Parents of kids in those schools have no problem supplying devices for them to access these types of skills that we're. So for rural areas, we're championing a digital catalyst fund that allows us to support rural schools so that their students can also play in that space. I was in Singapore the other time. This guy was telling me that, look, I'm lying in my boxes and programming from what you call it, and fund. I'm being paid what you call it. So, how do we bring students in rural areas to play and be part of what you? We talk about the youth bulge in Africa and the fact that as by 2030, whatever, we will have the most useful population across the globe. But population doesn't equal talent. Yeah, population never equals talent. So how do we hone their skills, curate those skills, and support them to also compete? I mean, you must have heard of the Methodist girls who went
the robotics.
twice.
Yes, twice.
They won it twice. I think MTN is building a center there for them and so on. So how do we replicate? How do we democratize? How do we make lots of? I would like to see a lot more rural kids going into competitions, going into AI, going to IoT, the whole fourth industrial revolution. How do we curate education 4.0,
right,
make it relevant for our rural folks? So that's really what our digital catalyst fund it's ambitious. We're raising $1 million.
Wow.
For that. And some members of the team who have businesses are saying, okay, we will seed that fund. So for us, every device, every smart lab that we sell, solutions we sell, a percentage goes into that fund. So we're seeding it. We're hoping to do anything between, in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 100,000 US from us to seed.
Wow.
So every single tablet, laptop, robotics kit, training, capacity building for whatever, we will contribute to that fund. Independently managed, independent board. So rural schools that want support
Can apply.
Can apply, and then we see how.
wonderful.
So that's that. There are
So
two real estate guys on there. Every house that they sell, they'll put a certain percentage into that. So that's the base. We're not just going off for the frolic of our own, and no, there's a bigger cause or vision that we are supporting.
For those listening who just want to honor what you've done by donating, how do they go about it?
You know what? I've forgotten that short code, but you carry on. I'll look
There's
for
a
it.
there's a
and,
short code. Oh,
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
life easy.
there's a
So
short
we'll
code.
get you
Let
that.
me-
We'll
let-
get you
yeah.
that short code as
Yeah.
quickly as possible. In the meantime, though, I mean, Franklin, the response, the reaction of Ghanaians to what you've done. I mean, it's been nice. It's been so nice that we're all so excited.
Yeah.
We are in awe of what you've done. You know, but there are some who still think, but Ghana pa. If you guys had been a bunch of Nigerians who had done
Yeah.
this, they would be making noise about you. They would be building statues in your name.
That is right.
Well, we wouldn't put it past our cousins to do
You
that.
know?
But the question, I guess, is: do you think Ghanaians have embraced and maximized what you guys have done enough?
I don't know how to answer that. But I think, well, we didn't expect that this would blow out of proportion. We were just doing our thing, driving to London. And as soon as we got there, I mean, the reception at Dover, I mean, it was crazy. Everybody was there to welcome us. Everybody was there. Pictures. I've taken like 2 million pictures. Even today in front of your office,
Yeah.
somebody asked me to take pictures. So it's pictures. We didn't expect this to happen. Yeah.
Compared to Nigerians and maybe the Basican movement and so on. That so there's a population size. I mean, officially 150 to 200 million, unofficially 300 million. I mean, compared to our 30 million. So there's something about the disposition of Nigerians and versus Ghanaians, the way we approach things and so on. So maybe there's a cultural thing over there. As you said, we weren't expecting it. We're just doing our thing. It's blown out of proportion. But for me, from a purely enlightened self-interest opportunist, let's leverage it and do some good. So yes, I mean, we're calling on all sorts of partners, corporates, and so on to support us in this agenda. The short code. The short code is *447* 2353 hash. So it's *447 hash 2353 hash. There's a digital catalyst fund that we're raising.
Just one more time, please, for us.
It's *447* 2353 hash.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And
also-
if you need it, you can go back onto our social media and just replay it. We will save this podcast for you so that you can go replay it and get that short code to participate.
Oh, also want to add, Inkit is running a 10% discount from now till, right? A 10% discount, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the fund.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And Inkit is opposite Ghana Commercial Bank in Accra, Newtown.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So yes, it's quite an expensive venture. We're hearing all sorts of things that people want to do it and so on. I mean, we planned several trips. There's an Accra Cape Town plan. There's a Perth Brisbane. We just discovered that the Egyptians have dug a tunnel that connects Africa to the Middle East. So there's a Dubai, Accra. There are all sorts of trips that are being planned and so on. And so when we set out, there are a few corporates that we approached that we're not interested. Like, you guys, are you guys?
Have you been drinking whiskey?
Yes, we have.
You driving
But it's interesting the kind of response from corporate Ghana as well. I said, no, we're not upset, we're not mad. Let's do the right thing. Show us the money, show working, and support our cause. Yeah,
Some of the public reactions have been negative.
of course.
Weirdly, I find it weird.
Yeah.
I can't think of what the
Yeah.
negative would be, but there are some people who have even condemned
Of course.
what you did.
Of course.
How do you feel about that?
All right, we just
don't
don't have
give a
time. We just don't have a
We
time
don't
to
give a
nurse negative energy. We have a cause. We are focused, and I can bet you we will raise that money.
What is the most surprising thing you've heard people say about your experience?
Oh, somebody was like, we should be arrested. We are charting a path for Ghanaians to go to Europe by road and so on. It was kind of listen. We took the lighter side of it. There are some that clearly didn't know that it was possible, but through this we've demonstrated that it is possible. You will go on land to a point where you can put your cars on a ferry, and we don't have to go far. There's a Dambai, what do you call it, ferry that crosses to what do you call it, and we've used that several times on our
planes,
planes and so on. So it's nothing spectacular. When they go to Calais, they went on to the ferry to Dover and then went on to Ashford. So it is possible. There are trips that people can do from here to Alaska to America, and at some point you will have to. When they say by road, it doesn't mean it's going to be a road. Yes. So that's what people were not clear about. So that, I think, that education has come about, and there's some that are also aspirational. And I was like, oh, I mean, there are people that are joking that they will take Praja to India. There are some that are saying that they will take their Matisse to Cape Town and so on. So listen, we're fun guys. We've got a very good sense of humor, so we take it in our stride.
Okay, but I mean, talking about how we're taking it and all, I'm just curious. Did any official from the Ministry of Tourism or Ghana Tourism Authority meet you when you arrived?
No.
When you returned?
No.
And they've not gotten in touch with you?
No, nobody's gotten in touch with us. No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we asked this because of our curiosity about how Ghana is leveraging what you've done. I mean, I don't say this just because the two of you are in front of us, but the whole group is made up of intelligent, articulate, exposed, smart, wonderful examples of Ghanaians. So if you've done this and the whole world has seen you, for me, that's an opportunity that as a nation we ought to be taking more advantage of. So it surprises me that that engagement hasn't happened.
It's interesting. One official was like, proceed at your own risk.
Oh, wow.
We went we needed support to go through the different countries. One official was like, but why don't you just fly? When you confront us with we want to do something, and you, in your superior wisdom, is telling us to we just don't engage. We managed to get our own support through our own various relationships, and we are networked. So we managed to get all the only chink in the armor was Mauritania.
Good old Mauritania.
But you know what? Things were going so smoothly and so well that in the back of my mind, my background for many years risk management. There was always a scenario in my mind, a curveball, a curveball. No. It will soft law. If it's going to go wrong, it will go wrong.
Listen, I can't tell you how exciting this conversation has been. We're so glad you could make the time. Come and tell us about your wonderful adventure. And we know it's the first of many. We plan to be there with you for all of them.
Absolutely.